Okay, you saying Jim Jones has more hits than Nas?
In 2025, the debate is loud again, Jim Jones versus Nas. But if you've been paying attention, you already know, this ain't new. This beef started in the early 2000s, and truth be told, it's been one-sided ever since. Let's break down the tension between Nas and the Diplomats, the shots fired, the silence kept, and why, despite all the noise, Nas never had to say much to remind everyone exactly who he is. The seeds were planted in 2002. During a radio interview, Nas was asked about Cam'ron, who at the time was just starting to break into the mainstream. Nas didn't diss him outright, but made his stance clear.
If I buy these people albums, you know what I'm saying? And they ain't talking about nothing from Cam to everybody. I mean, I like Cam and everything. He's a good lyricist, but the album's whack, man.
Now in hip-hop, that kind of statement ain't taken lightly, especially coming from a guy like Nas, who built his name on lyrical excellence. That line sent a ripple through NYC, and it was one of the first moments that set the stage for what would later become a bigger issue with the Diplomats as a whole. By 2003, Dipset was buzzing heavy in the streets, but their rise came with smoke. On several mixtapes, Diplomats members, including Jim Jones, started throwing shots at Nas. They felt like Nas wasn't giving them their flowers, and in typical Dipset fashion, they fired back through the bars. It wasn't full-blown war yet, but the tension was real. Nas barely responded. But in a 2005 clip that resurfaced recently, Nas was asked about Jim Jones directly.
It was like Jim Jones, imagine putting a pen to paper to write about him.
That moment said more than a diss track ever could. Nas didn't need to clap back because in his mind they weren't even in the same league. But just because Nas was quiet, doesn't mean he wasn't watching. On 2006's Hip Hop Is Dead, Nas dropped a cold subliminal aimed straight at Jim, put a barrel in the capo mouth till his scalp come out. You a kid, you don't live what you rap about. Capo, that's Jim Jones's nickname. The message? Clear. Nas was tired of the noise and decided to remind people how surgical he can be with a single bar. No rants, no Twitter beef, just poetry, weaponized. By 2008, the tension had died down. Jim Jones even started showing respect to Nas in public.
I actually reached out to Nas to actually,
Whoa!
I'm doing my chicken head shit right now because I really want him to get on this record.
In interviews, he admitted to reaching out to Nas for a feature. It seemed like the Harlem Hustler wanted to build a bridge, but Nas never responded. No verse, no email, no callback. And honestly, that silence might have been the loudest message of all. Now flash forward to 2025.
Okay. You saying Jim Jones has more hits than Nas?
That one take flipped the internet upside down. Fat Joe brought it up to Jim on the Joe and Jada podcast, and Jim didn't back down. Instead, he went on a press run claiming he had more Billboard hits and bigger numbers than Nas.
Platinum album, no, me, Jim Jones. No Diplomats, no nobody else. Me, Jim Jones. Check my track record, then check everybody else's track record.
But the internet wasn't having it. They brought the receipts, breaking down chart stats, album sales, accolades, and global influence. And when you line them up, it's not even close. Nas has a Pulitzer-nominated catalog, a Grammy, 14 solo albums, cultural relevance across 3 decades. Jim? He's had growth, respect, and hustle, but he's not on Nas's tier. Then came the wildest moment yet. Shannon Sharpe sat down with Jim on Club Shay Shay and straight up asked,
"You smoking when you say you better than Nas?"
It turned into a full-on shouting match. Jim stood on it. Shannon clapped back. And finally, Shannon said what a lot of hip-hop fans were already thinking. Lyrically, you're not even in the conversation with Nas. And what was Nas doing while all this chaos played out? Staying silent and getting richer. In mid-2025, he announced a $5 billion expansion plan for Resorts World Casino in Queens, his hometown. He executive produced Slick Rick's first album in 26 years. He's rolling out new projects from Mobb Deep, Raekwon, and more through his label Mass Appeal. No diss tracks, just legacy moves. So yeah, Jim Jones made headlines, he got his interviews, he even sparked a new wave of debate. But when it comes to lyricism, longevity, and legacy, Nas isn't just in a different lane, he built the highway. Jim's a legend in Harlem, no doubt, but Nas is a legend around the globe. Was Jim Jones just trolling for streams, or does he really believe the hype?
I know how to turn my negatives into a positive. Man, I didn't know how many people love Nas.
Either way, this beef showed one thing loud and clear: there's levels to this. Drop your thoughts below, hit like, and subscribe for more real hip-hop breakdowns from Rap Politics. Peace King.